Folks, welcome to an all-new episode of So Bad It's Good. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Wednesday show. We always say on Wednesday, you did something with your life. You made it halfway through the week. I am so proud. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of me. My God. It is 9:30 p.m. on Tuesday night. We have a great show for you today. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's episode with Bravo predictions. We did that Craig Conover story, a lot of different stories. It was fun. Somebody wrote on Spotify that they really enjoyed the show. It just felt like Summer House, like it was just vibes. And I'm like, yeah, yesterday's episode really was just vibes. Now today, it's a little more serious because we got some serious filmmakers with us today. Now, if you've listened to the show over the last month, I've been talking about this great documentary series on Netflix. It's called the Trainwreck documentary series. And we had the director of the documentary Poop Cruise, which is part of the Trainwreck series. But it started off with the Astro World tragedy. That was the first documentary that they released this year under that banner. And I thought that was so powerful. But each one of these kind of, gives you a piece of a moment in pop culture history. And the directors that we talked to today, the first one is PI Moms, which is in Netflix's top 10 right now. And this is just a wild story that involves reality television. And then the other one just came out on Tuesday. It's called Storm Area 51. And it's a two-part docuseries under the Trainwreck banner. And both of these directors just knocked it out of the park. I mean, honestly, if you watch any of the Trainwreck series, I think you're going to really get something out of each one of these. The other ones that they have in the series is Balloon Boy. They have The Real Project X, obviously Poop Cruise, The Cult of American Apparel, Mayor of Mayhem. And then this one, Woodstock 99, was released, I believe, in 2021. And that kind of started the Trainwreck series. It's 3 episodes, and it was really just one of my favorites. Woodstock 99, highly recommend that one as well. So there are timestamps if you want to skip right to those directors, but we're going to talk about a couple of other things in the meantime. Now, obviously, we just had word a couple of hours ago about a tsunami warning here in California, but we're really pulling for the people in Hawaii and obviously the people in Japan. Really scary. Man, California has just taken a beating in this last year. I mean, maybe we've all taken a beating. So, if it does anything in California, it's supposed to hit around between 11 and 1 a.m. So I think I'm going to stay up and just make sure everything's not that I'm going to be able to stop anything, but yeah. So anyways, just thoughts are with everybody that is having to deal with that, and hopefully it will not be as severe or as serious as they are saying it potentially might be. Okay, so. Before that news, I was about to say there were 2 tragedies tonight, the tsunami and the Valley reunion part 1. We will do a full recap on Thursday. I've got some interesting news to share with you in the Valley universe. So tune in on Thursday. And I just watched this week's episode of Real Housewives of Orange County that airs on Thursday. And I hate to be a Debbie Downer. I really want to be positive as much as I can because I know life can be so negative, but it is just not doing it for me. It's just not, it's not coming together. And I'm hoping it does. And it's each one of these women are interesting in their own way, but together it's just coming off. It's like going through the motions. That's what it feels like watching. Maybe I'm going to watch it again. Obviously, we'll do the recap on Friday and hopefully. And by the way, even when I don't like an episode, those recaps turn out to be really fun. Speaking of really fun, come to our Patreon live today at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Patreon.com/So Bad It's Good. It's an hour where we get really silly and goofy and we get to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And it'll break up me having to work on the Valley reunion episode, which, it was pretty dark, just like the entire season. Wait, I didn't even get asked. How are you guys? Are you okay? How's life going? Is it good? Is it going good? Is it on the upswing? Is it on the downswing? I hope you guys are okay. What else? Oh, yeah. So you guys, I had an in-person audition today. And that is so rare. Like, I don't really I'm not trying to audition. I'm not trying to be an actor, but I still have like a commercial agent. But usually those auditions that I'll get, it'll be so sporadically, and then I'll have to put something on tape, which means I just record it here at home and send it out into the ether. But this was an in-person audition, and those are just so rare these days. And so I went, and then I found out, I just had a couple pieces of information, and then I can't really say who it is, but the commercial is with one of my favorite actors of all time, which means that I will not get this commercial. That is what that means right off the bat. So I went and did that, and that was like kind of early. And so I realized, oh my God, I have a couple of hours to kill. And so I was like, do I do it? Do I actually go to a movie theater and go see a movie? And I was like, oh my God, I've been talking about wanting to go see that Superman movie. And I was like, should I see Superman? And I asked Rebecca, do you want to go see Superman? And she's like, would you hate me if I didn't? So we broke off the engagement. It's not happening any longer. No, she was like, you go see it. You have fun. And so I went and saw an afternoon movie. You don't even understand how weird and rare that is for me. And so I went to the theater, and AMC, you gotta love them, man. I love AMC, but dude, 35 minutes of previews and commercials is extreme. And you already know that going in, but you sometimes convince yourself like, no, they won't really do 30. They do a full fucking 35 minutes. And then they'll like intersperse commercials at my AMC in between the trailers. Cause I like trailers. I do. But then they'll put commercials in between the trailers. And then they'll get to a point where they'll just start talking about how damn good their movie theater is after the trailers. I'm like, I'm here at the movie theater. You don't need to advertise to somebody here in your movie theater. Maybe buy advertising on TV shows to talk about how good your movie theaters are. I'm here. I am in one of your seats. I am aware that the sound and the picture quality is good. I'm aware there's a space where I can get popcorn and treats if I so desired, but I'm trying to be healthy, so I will not be partaking. But I'm aware of all of these things. Like, you got me. I'm in the chair. Why do I need, what are you doing? Like, it's almost like you're just bragging about your flipping movie theater. And I'm already sold. You already got my money. Anyways, I saw Superman, and I'm glad I saw it. It was a lot. It was very comic booky, but not in, it's very like the last 15 years of comic books. There was a lot happening. James Gunn had to introduce a lot of characters. I love that it wasn't an origin story, that Superman was already Superman, but there was a lot packed into 2 hours and 9 minutes. And then, 2 hours and 49 minutes if you had the previews. But there was a lot. Sometimes I was like, but you know what? It got me really excited to see what's to come. There was a lot of great characters set up, and I'm curious to see where they go from there in that universe. But yeah, it was good. I wouldn't say I was like, oh my God, that's the best thing I ever saw at all, but it was a great first building block of whatever James Gunn is trying to do in the DC superhero universe. So I was very happy to go see that in a theater, and I'm hoping to see Fantastic Four. And I want to see this new movie coming out the first week of August called Weapons. I want to see Eddington, Ari Aster's Eddington. He's the director who did Hereditary and Midsommar, and I've got to go see that one as well. And then there's another one I really want to see as well. But there's a lot of good movies out there. I've just got to remember to make more time to make myself go and remind myself of why I love going to see movies. Does that make sense? I say this like I'm probably once a month, but truly what my dream would be is for them to show classic Housewives, Vanderpump Rules, and reality show episodes on the big screen. Like, I think that would be amazing, like once a week, or even do like midnight screenings. Jackie Schimmel told me that one of her best birthdays was that she rented out a movie theater and showed the Scary Island trilogy episodes on Roni. And I was like, but she like did it fancy. She served like caviar and martinis. And that Jackie Schimmel is, just second to none. She's hysterical and very unique. And I was like, you know what? I really don't ever celebrate my birthday. like in a real way. Like we acknowledge that it's my birthday and stuff like that. But I was like, maybe I would throw myself a party one day, but it would be a party where I would just make people watch my favorite episodes of reality TV. I mean, that could be real. Like that would be a blast. In fact, like maybe I've always just threatened to do live touring, but maybe it's not live touring. Maybe I just come to your town and make you watch reality TV with me. Maybe that's the thing that we should be doing. Who knows? Okay, now let's get into some news. And so we obviously had some Love Island USA news today. And for those of you that do not give a rip about Love Island USA, congratulations. It must be amazing in times like this where you do not have to care. But I also am saying, like, sometimes as I get older, I am finding it not harder to care, but kind of like of the mind of, yeah, man, life is crazy. Life can be really messed up. We really hurt each other. And all men, including myself, are really flipping dumb. Like truly, like we have mush for brains sometimes and we do idiotic things, right? And so we got this news about JaNa and Kenny, who were one of the finalists on Love Island season 6. So not this most recent Love Island USA, but the one before it that kind of made Love Island USA, put it on the map that season, right? And I interviewed JaNa and Kenny right as they came out of the villa. And the thing is, when Love Island USA works, and I don't include this past season, it really does get you hopped up on this thought of, oh my God, I believe in love. Oh my God, isn't this cute? But they're young, man. These are kids. They are kids. And then they are thrust into some of the most insane, quick fame that you could ever possibly imagine. It has been a little over a year since they got out of the villa, and now they are on Peacock's Beyond the Villa, which I think we're 3 episodes in, if I'm not mistaken, on that show. And they, I just don't think I don't think we can process how weird that has to be to all of a sudden having maybe, a decent social media presence to go to 1 million followers of people that all want something from you or to tell you that they love you or to tell you that they hate you. So the last year of their lives has had to already have been pretty insane. But there's this thing where like everybody's like, oh my God, I believe in you as a couple. And I don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be a negative Nancy once again. I did it with the Orange County little discourse I just had. But I'm also doing it with this, was that I think I'm just at an age where I don't believe that any of these couples are going to last. And I know that might sound so cold but like, dude, relationships take time. Like trust is built over years. And maybe that's just as you get older, that is more of a thing, but when you're young, I mean, obviously we always talk about that concept. When you're young, your heart is, it's not used to the feeling of love. So like you fall hard and you fall fast and you are like, oh my God, I've never felt this feeling before. What is this? This is love. You're trying to determine if it's lust or if it's love or if it's a combination of both. But when you're young, that thing your heart hasn't been trampled over like a dozen times, where as you get older into your 30s and 40s, you're like, yes. You almost are scared to feel something for somebody because you know that feeling can potentially lead to really, really deep hurt for everybody involved. And so you get a little bit more cynical about it. And I think that's the other thing that we love about Love Island is that most of these people are approaching this game show without cynicism. We might watch it through the lens of cynicism like I do, but they are not experiencing it through cynicism. Now, also, in terms of celebrity in 2025, one of the big terms is clout. Like, oh, they're just doing it for clout. They're looking for clout. Clout is such a funny word to me, right? Because yes, but I think clout is something that we all want. I mean, in small ways, we all want to be known, right? What is one of my favorite songs, Mr. Jones by Counting Crows? We all want something beautiful. Man, I wish I was beautiful. To me, that's clout. We all want something more than what we are. And if you're not like that, my God, you are so well adjusted and you are probably not listening to the show. But that's to me it is that we all want to be something more than we are. And we are such in this kind of social media landscape where you get these little dopamine hits when you get all of these strangers liking something. I haven't really done, like I said, like my meme stuff that I used to do on Instagram. I'm rarely inspired anymore. Not that I've lost my sense of humor, but I just think I don't, I view life a little differently this past year for a lot of reasons. And probably, if I'm to be honest, just since my mom passed away. So there'll be times where I'll get an idea and that'll kind of make me laugh and I'll put it out there. But man, I used every day, multiple memes. I'd be trying to post as much as I could. And I was really wanting that dopamine hit. I was really wanting strangers to like something that I did. And I don't know, I view the podcast a little differently because I feel like this is an open dialogue between us. It's just that I'm overpowering the conversation to the point where you're annoyed, right? But I like this because it does feel to me a little bit more open, or I'm able to explain things or how I see things a little differently than a snarky meme can do. And I'm hoping to get back to a place where I have more funny thoughts for those things. But sometimes it's like the last on a checklist these days. But I remember when I was really in it, I craved that kind of attention. I really wanted it. It made me feel really good about myself, if I were to be honest. And I would tell myself, and I do think this is true to some degree, is that I was like, there is this kind of interesting puzzle when you make a meme or you do a funny thing because you're trying to say, okay, what do you find funny about this situation? How can you speak about this situation differently than all of these other people that are posting about it? Sometimes now when I go on Instagram, it's literally the same flippin' post from about 90 different accounts. And I'm like, but yeah, what's your take on it? Like, yeah, I know the news at this point. I know what the news is, but I always wanted something like, okay, but what is your take on it? Like, what is your opinion? Or do you have a joke about it? Like, what is that? And, sometimes I get really excited when I see people do that because I'm like, oh, this person is finding their voice. And that might sound silly, but for what I do, that's really important. Like, I love that Josh the Roni stan. I've had him on a couple times, right? God, has it just been once? But I met up with him like a month or so ago to watch Love Island when he was in town. And I really enjoy watching that man's TikToks and his Instagrams. And I love, like, he found a voice, and I really support people that have a different approach or their own perspective, right? So clout is a big thing because you'll see people do things, or I see a lot of ass kissing online, and I'm like, God, are you just doing this so they'll like the celebrity or the reality star will see this and repost you or give you some attention, which gives you a little clout, gives you a little walking around money, a little boo. And you understand all of that stuff because I do it too, or I've done it too. But this all comes into Love Island USA because, as we talked about on Monday's episode very briefly, JaNa and Kenny broke up suddenly. And there was rumors that it happened at influencer David Dobrik's 29th birthday party, which I'm sure a lot of bad things happened at David Dobrik's 29th birthday party. But we have found out now that there was no huge explosive fight. Like, there was a rumor spread around on Twitter saying there was like a huge explosive fight. It happened in front of everybody and all that. So now people are saying that definitely didn't happen, and that there was something to do with him cheating on JaNa, and he had like a side piece, and potentially the side piece was there at this David Dobrik party, right? But turns out that is not the case at all. But then we started getting Instagram statements from pretty much a lot of the Love Island cast members, including JaNa and Kenny today, which we're going to go through right now. And even if you don't like Love Island USA, I find it interesting because I think it's interesting to study pop culture in terms of how the people that are famous so suddenly are able to use social media, and sometimes they're weaponizing social media, and I don't even think they are aware that they're weaponizing it. But they don't really truly understand at this point how many millions of people are paying attention to what they do. And also on us, the audience, it becomes really interesting too, because how quickly false information spreads. Like I was just saying that false rumor about David Dobrik's party and that Kenny had a side piece there and like it was called out. That was all started by like one Twitter account, I believe. And then everybody was so voracious and so thirsty for some sort of drama and news so they could make their TikToks and their Instagrams that it got spread like wildfire. It got spread. You know, I'm all for, in some ways, calling creators journalists, but I'm not all the way there. I still think, me reading a TMZ article to you guys does not a journalist make. Me just repeating something that I read on the Daily Mail, and that's why I always try to tell you, take everything with a grain of salt. And also try to find the best source of news for any information that you get. Always double check things, even if it's pop culture, even if it's something as silly as pop culture, which I know means a lot to us, but it can also, you're like, come on. It's at the end of the day, it's Love Island. But it just shows how much we put our hearts into believing what we see on these shows. We have an emotional attachment to this. And I think that is what is truly fascinating at the end of the day. Okay, sorry, I just got off on a real big rant there. Let's get to some information. Okay, let's get started with some of these Instagram stories. Now, first, JaNa wrote this to her Instagram following. Hi, my loves. Thank you for all your love and support. It means the world to me. As you know, Kenny and I are no longer together. Please know that I have seen all the breakup theories and none have matched up to how terrible, disgusting, and disappointing it truly is. Discovering that someone you loved isn't who you thought they were and that the relationship you thought you were building hasn't been genuine since day one has been truly devastating. Thank you for respecting my privacy, and please know as a child of God, I will always be okay. So she's saying the theories, which one of those was the cheating and stuff like that, isn't correct. And then I was like, oh my God, is Kenny in the Valley's boys chat? Is he in there with Jackson, Jesse, Lally? Like that seems like a pretty disgusting place as well. So then Kenny puts out a statement and he says, the past few days have been incredibly difficult. I've been quietly sitting with a lot of emotions and doing my best to process everything privately. Breakups are never easy, especially in the public eye. Sometimes, despite how deeply you care for someone, you come to the hard truth that the relationship was not something that could last long term. I'll always be grateful for the time we shared and the memories we created. I release this chapter with no ill will, only a hope that JaNa's path forward brings her nothing but happiness. You released this chapter. It sounds like she potentially released you, brother. And then JaNa fired back at me. So now we're like firing back at each other. And JaNa said, at Kenny Rodriguez, STFU, which means shut the fuck up. You manipulative liar. You not taking accountability and telling people the type of person you really are is insane to me. Double exclamation points. My first statement was me being nice. Do not piss me off. And then us, we're like hungry. We're like piss her off, piss her off, piss her off. And then the rest of the Love Island cast started chiming in. So Olivia Walker, Liv, she says, she in her Instagram story, she took Kenny's statement and she wrote, your pathetic excuse for a story is laughable. She sounds like Brock. My bad imitation of Brock. I can't even put into words how good of a person Nene is and how hard it is to watch her go through something like this. Kenny Rodriguez, I hope this gives you the clout you always wanted, you fucking loser. So the word clout is brought up for the first time. So clout, that gives us a little clue of clout. So he did something for clout, obviously. Something about clout, right? So then Demois, our buddy Demois, she had a submission sent into her because she was trying to get to the bottom of this as well. Now, this is what was sent into her via a submission. It says, allegedly the tea on the breakup is that she found texts on Kenny's phone about his plan to stay with her for business/clout. Texts with friends calling her racist names, which aligns with both Leah and Serena's statements calling him a clout chaser and a racist. A clout chaser and a racist. So now, and by the way, Demois, sometimes people can say she gets it wrong, but I will say the people that submit to Demois are usually the people in the inner circle when it comes to situations like this. So I would not be surprised if whoever sent in this submission to Demois was somebody in the cast of Love Island that knows this directly, right? And then we have Leah, and there was the photo of Miguel, who is Leah's boyfriend, with Kenny, and Leah left a comment saying, "Delete my man off your page, you clout demon." I love that. You clout demon. And then another comment, "How about you delete my man off your page instead of deleting my comments?" So that was back to back. And then Kaylor, Chicks in the Office, posted this, and Kaylor did a clapping emoji, like, "Yeah, girl." So that was two other cast members, right? And then I'm finding this is Glorified Gossip Girlie that I love her account, but she really is breaking down a lot of this, so I want to give her credit here. But then JaNa's sister, and I'm sorry, I'm not fully aware of JaNa's sister up until this point because I watched the show and I don't really delve, I'll see things here and there. So her sister's name is Naja, Naja. Is that right? Or is it Naja? So I'm so sorry if I'm butchering how to say that. But she wrote under her sister's Instagram story saying, "Now that my sis has spoken, I can speak on the issue. This NIGGA really had us fooled. Fumbled the baddest bitch he'll ever have on mamas. Sorry. Really fumbled the baddest he'll ever have on mamas. MAMASSSS. Sometimes the kids, you guys, I don't know what they're right." And then she did one of those crazy emojis with the tongue out like, "Ah." As for JaNa, still blessed and highly favored. So that was her sister, right? And then Glorified Gossip Girlie let us know that Kenny has lost, and this is where money comes into play. He has lost 40,000 followers today, just at a Tuesday, lost 40,000 followers. And then since Sunday, he's lost almost 100,000 since the news broke. And that's wild. Then Serena from Love Island, she jumped in with a reminder, which I think is a good reminder for all of us that are like ferociously following pop culture. She wrote, "Let's all remember this is not a show and someone's actual feelings. It may just be tea for y'all, but that's not the case for us. Y'all already know how I'm coming behind JaNa, and trust, so does he. Because PPG for life, right?" And then Leah posted a text message saying, "This is the month of clout chasers, I guess," and wrote, "Oh, Mercury is in retrograde? Makes sense." So, I mean, it's coming fast and furious. And then JaNa's friend Charmaine kind of outlined what had happened. And Charmaine said in a Instagram story, "My advice for women in relationships, if you have access, go through your man's phone today. Search keywords like, I don't like black women. I thought I would get more money from this. I'm faking this relationship. Going on the show would be for clout. I can't wait to be done with this so I can fuck hella bitches." And then she wrote, "You'll thank me later. P.S. Never spare a man. Dog them out, baby girl." And so that is pretty much what people are speculating he did, is that she went through his phone and found things like, I don't like black women, wanting more money from this and wanting this to be over so he can hook up with other women, which really would be disgusting and devastating, right? That would truly be that. So then this is from, I think this is from Kaylor. No, sorry. No, then Charmaine wrote, "I don't play about JaNa." And then she did a meme, that little frog guy, and said, "You ever look at someone and just want to," and the frog's like pulling back his fist. But we don't advocate for violence ever. So that is where we are. So obviously, Kenny is in the doghouse. I saw a funny, I think Reality Ops, that account had a funny little meme about It was like a dog like on a phone, and it was Nick Vile trying to get JaNa in for an interview, and it was just like ringing and ringing because Nick's trying to work every connection to get the exclusive sit down. But I mean, listen, at this point, Call Her Daddy will probably get it. Who will get the first exclusive sit down, and who's going to get the sit down with Kenny, or will Kenny be kind of ignored like people are ignoring Cierra Ortega from this past season of Love Island USA? So that is all of the social media that has happened thus far. I'm sure more will happen overnight. I'm not sure how much longer I will cover this story unless something big happens. But I think not only is this fascinating because we've talked about the show in the past, but it's fascinating in just how large of followings that they have, and how, the Valley reunion aired tonight. And I am not seeing really that much about that at all. But my whole feed on TikTok and Instagram is just covered, wallpapered in Love Island, which then in a pop culture brain like mine, I just think like, God, not that the Valley has lost the plot, but Bravo has to find a way to get people this invested. This is just from my business point of view is like, how can we get people this in? Because I just watched Orange County this week, and that's not going to do it. And the Valley, kicks it up a little bit where we have discourse and we're passionate and there's a lot of anger. And we do live in 2025, which to me is the year of rage bait. We are really trying like anything emotional. And I don't mean sad or happy. I mean angry. Well, we want to get at that anger. That's attention. That's money. And people do not people want us angry, right? And I think that's interesting as well. And people are fired up about this. So how can Bravo get people fired up in this way about their shows? I don't know. Anyways, you guys just hug your loved ones today. Bring them in. Tell them you love them. Sorry, I know I'm trying to be serious because like heartbreak sucks. And it sounds like Kenny really did something so dickish that obviously we are talking about it right now. So Love Island USA, the drama continues. Now, Beyond the Villa is airing right now, but that was shot a while back. So we're not going to see this drama unfold. So I don't know if this will ensure that a second season gets made, but something tells me that cast of Love Island Beyond the Villa isn't super pumped to be doing the show. I think they are acclimating to their new life and then thrusting themselves on another reality show. I don't even know if they think that's the best thing for them right now. Okay, now we're switching gears completely. If you skipped this first part because I put a timestamp, these are back-to-back interviews. We are going to start with the director of Trainwreck's Storm Area 51, and then we will immediately after that go into an interview with the director of Trainwreck PI Moms. And these are both amazing dudes. I just love to know how the sausage is made. And, if I could live a dozen lives, I would love for one of my lives to be a documentarian, because my God, it's just one of my favorite forms of media to watch. So let's get into it right now. Have the best Wednesday that you possibly can. And I'll see you on Thursday for a Valley recap, but also come join our Patreon tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay? Bye, guys.